Engineering interview questions and answers. Tell me about yourself. Thank you. I will briefly go through the diverse range of personal, technical, and leadership skills that I have developed over the years and I believe will help this company achieve its objectives. I will start with my personal skills. I am a proven and tested nuclear safety professional, a good communicator, and I build networks with people. I am bilingual in English and French, a quick learner, and I adapt easily to different environments. I am known for my loyalty and integrity. A combination of these skills and my passion for solving challenges within the nuclear industry has led me to being trusted to deliver challenging projects in the UK, in France, in Finland, in China, and to excellent standards. Next, my technical skills. I have employed my skills in detailed design, commissioning, and instrumentation and control in solving challenging problems during different life cycles of nuclear generating stations, whether for the existing nuclear generating stations or nuclear new build projects around the world. Specifically, I have supported the startup of new nuclear reactors in Finland, in France, in China, and have helped extend the operating life of nuclear generating stations in the UK. Finally, my leadership skills. I am a good project manager and have completed complex projects to schedule by working with international teams in different countries. I am very good at planning and organizing work. I lead by example. I am always improving myself, and I am passionate about developing others. I am currently mentoring engineers to achieve professional engineer status with engineering institutions in the UK. I'm excited at the prospect of helping this company achieve its energy ambitions, which include extending the life of its existing nuclear generating stations and help deliver the small modular reactors to ensure energy security for this country. Why do you want to work for us? From researches I have carried out, and interactions I have had with my professional network contacts at your company, there is a collaborative environment with people from different backgrounds and skill sets learning from each other. Employees at this company feel like they are part of a team and they are given opportunities to contribute. This company genuinely wants to see people succeed. At this stage in my career, I would like to stay with the same company for a long period of time, and you have very ambitious plans, which includes extending the operating life of current fleet of nuclear generating stations and the construction and safe operation of small modular reactors. I would like to be part of this future and grow with the company along the way. I am passionate about working in an environment where I will contribute to this company's continued growth and success in generating safe, clean, reliable, low cost power in a sustainable manner. Finally, being an employee of this company means I can apply my knowledge, broaden my skills, and make valuable contributions. What do you know about this company? This company operates a diverse portfolio of generating assets including nuclear, hydroelectric, biomass, and solar. It is also a clean tech leader and innovator, offering challenging and unique work opportunities. This company continues to set the bar for environmental protection, community involvement, and economic impact, all while safely keeping the lights on. The company has set its sights on being a net zero carbon company by 2040 and a catalyst to help the economies where they operate to achieve a net zero by 2050. The president and chief executive officer of the company is Max Brown. What do you know about this company's nuclear generating stations and their locations? All nuclear power reactors in the company's fleet are pressurized water reactors and use uranium as fuel and heavy water as coolant and moderator. Station 1 has got 8 units with installed capacity of over 6,000 megawatts, 6 units operating, 2 units under major component replacement. Station 2 has got 8 units with installed capacity of over 3,000 megawatts, 6 units operating and 2 units under safe storage. The fundamental nuclear safety principles are based on the 3 Cs. What are they? The fundamental nuclear safety principles followed by all staff at this company's nuclear generating station are based on what is referred to as the 3 Cs. So control, cool, and contain. For all activities, priority is given to ensure that at all times the reactor power is controlled, that the fuel is cooled, and that radiation is contained. What 5 levels of defense protect the 3 Cs? The 5 levels of defense assure that the likelihood of accidents are minimized and that the resulting likelihood of a large radiological release is extremely small. The 5 levels of defense are robust design and conservative operation, reliable process systems, multi-groups of engineered safety systems, flexible emergency mitigation equipment, comprehensive emergency preparedness plans. What sort of hazards are present at our nuclear generating stations? Under nuclear sources, we have the nuclear fuel. Under radiation, we have got radioactive waste and radiography equipment. Under chemicals and gases, we have ammonia, boric acid, CO2, nitrogen, hydrogen, acidic and alkaline solutions, fuels, oils, and lubes. And under conventional mechanical and electrical, we have got electricity, vehicle, fire, projectiles from pressure circuits, asphyxiation and drowning, high noise and vibration, slips, trips and falls, steam. Which nuclear codes or standards do you know of? So I've got knowledge of codes and standards in inspection, maintenance, and life cycle management, such as codes on periodic inspection of nuclear power plant components, periodic inspection of nuclear power plant containment components, in-service examination and testing requirements for different structures. Why and how did you choose your career in this sector? I have always been passionate about nuclear power. This informed my decision to complete an industrial placement in a nuclear power generating station as part of my doctorate program. My doctorate thesis was on the development of a data logging system in a nuclear generating station. Nuclear has done a lot to cut carbon and fight climate change. The industry is evolving with lots of opportunities for innovation. What skills or experience do you have that make you right for the job? Why should we hire you? I have studied the job description and I strongly believe that I meet the requirements for this role. I have a good instrumentation and control background, and I have experience in working on fleet critical projects to extend the life of nuclear generating stations in the UK. I also have extensive experience in nuclear new build projects in France, in UK, in China, in Finland, and have used operating experience and best practices from Finland and China. In addition, I have extensive experience in the planning, sequencing, execution of commissioning tests and analysis of test results. And lastly, I have carried out modifications to improve the operation of nuclear generating stations worldwide. Why did you leave your last job? Why do you want to leave your current job? I am still working with my fantastic company and continue to establish and develop strong networks within and outside my company. It is a truly brilliant company that has afforded me the opportunity to work on challenging world class projects. I have grown together with my company. However, I feel I need a fresh challenge. I have excellent relationships with not just my current company, but also my previous companies, and I am very grateful for the experience I acquired whilst working with them. I have good relationships with my manager, and I believe I will be leaving the company on very good terms. What are your biggest strengths? What would your teammates say about you? I am very calm under immense pressure. I build networks with people easily. I adapt easily to different environments and I am a quick learner. I am also very resilient. I am always a good ambassador for my company, and in addition to working to very high standards, I am always improving myself. What is your biggest weakness? My biggest weakness is that I find it very difficult to say no to extra work because I like to lead by example. This has in the past resulted in me taking on too much work, and I have ended up working many hours in the evening, sometimes just to make sure that the work is completed as scheduled. The good thing about me, though, is that I am always working hard towards improving myself, and I am open to learn from my mistakes and improve on myself. How do you manage when drowning in work? I am always very organized and I plan my work very well in advance so I know what needs to be done each day. Whenever I am overloaded, I remain calm and carefully plan a way out. I believe in communicating clearly and logically and to remain calm and composed with a positive mindset whenever I am in a stressful situation. I delegate where necessary. I also discuss with my managers and other stakeholders to agree delivery dates for each of the deliverables and prioritize tasks. How do you manage your projects? As lead engineer for the projects I work on, I carry out regular reviews of the monthly status reports of contractors working for me. This is necessary to monitor project performance regarding budget and milestones. I am also responsible for managing stakeholders working on the project. For example, safety case officer, station responsible engineer, project manager, and supply chain officer. I also carry out regular program reviews with the top level project stakeholders, such as the program manager, the project manager, and project planner. This is to ensure that the project is executed as planned and on time and on budget. In addition, I manage electronic task file system for securely storing project information. I also produce a quality plan specifying the various tasks and procedures to be followed for each task. Tell me about a successful project you were involved in. What was your role? What was the result? What are your greatest achievements? Describe the most exciting project you've ever worked on. As lead commissioning engineer for nuclear safety systems, I resolved all the discrepancies during the handover from mechanical completions to commissioning. I performed commissioning tests on the system. I carried out an analysis of the test results, responded to technical queries from the nuclear regulatory authorities. I trained the operators on how to use the system and handed over a system that was fully tested and that complied with the nuclear safety criteria. In addition, I developed a learning report for the UK project as part of knowledge sharing between the UK and France, China, and Finland. I led multidisciplinary stakeholders like the mechanical completions team, operators, commissioning team, the nuclear safety authority, suppliers of pumps and valves. I was also able to build a very good rapport and trust with the operators. All my tasks were completed safely and on time. Have you ever used critical thinking or analytical skills to solve an issue? Describe a time when you had to overcome a significant obstacle on a job. Talk about a time when you solved a complicated problem in a short period of time. What was a step-by-step solution that you produced to solve a problem? Tell us about a time you improved a process or design. Can you tell me about a time when you completed a difficult task under pressure? Tell me about a time when you went above and beyond. Whilst working on the pressure control system project, I placed an order for a controller which was to be used to throttle the valves. This controller had been successfully employed on a similar project a couple of years earlier because it was qualified to meet the system requirements. We got feedback from the manufacturer saying that the controller had just gone out of stock and was in fact obsolete. They did have a more recent version, but this version had not been assessed by our company. I had to come up with an alternative within a short time. I carried out an analysis of qualified controllers within my company's database and determined that a replacement controller could perform most of the functions of the initial controller. However, the replacement controller had two limitations. First, unlike the initial controller, the replacement controller did not have a watchdog as specified in the requirements. Secondly, the replacement controller had no functionality for detecting a failure of the output loop. I purchased two copies of the replacement controller, performed experiments in our laboratory on one of the replacement controllers to explore capabilities of the controller. I also spent time discussing with the controller manufacturer to better understand the different controller functionalities. To resolve the watchdog limitation, I grouped the instrument diagnostic error together and configured them as a digital alarm output on one of the relay on the controller modules. I then configured the EEPROM error on the other relay. To resolve the output failure loop detection functionality, I configured a trip amplifier to be used for output loop failure detection. I got a lot out of this situation because I learned how to configure a controller, something I hadn't previously done before. So not only did I diversify my skill range, I also improved my analytical skills and demonstrated my ability to work under pressure. Tell us about an individual project you worked on outside your scope. Can you tell me about a time where you provided excellent customer service? I regularly support commissioning activities for plant systems outside my scope. This helps ensure that the commissioning program is on schedule. In addition, it affords me the opportunity to broaden my technical knowledge and improve my competence. I also train other engineers on how to use a simulator system. So basically, the simulator allows you to vary inputs to change plant parameters to test the instrumentation and control functionality of different systems. By training the engineers on how to use the simulator, they were able to quickly understand the operation of their systems through experiments. This helped them troubleshoot during commissioning tests, and it has also helped to complete the commissioning test ahead of schedule. Walk me through a scenario of a process you invented or improved. Name a situation where you implemented an idea that led to your organization's increase in efficiency, savings. Name one time you took a role as a leader. Tell us about a time when you stepped up and took initiative. Tell us about a time you made something more efficient. I discovered that there were several incidents of near misses during tests. I observed that certain team members did not perform pre-job briefing before starting the job. There was also no formal debrief at the end of each task. In addition, valuable information was lost because there was inefficient gathering of learning during tests. I have proposed that a formal pre-job briefing be held before starting any activity, and debriefing is held at the end of the activity. My proposal has actually led to the team having a formal pre-job briefing before the start of each task, and the results of the meeting are also documented. In addition, a formal post-job debrief is conducted with all the participants in attendance. So the results of the debriefing is well documented, and this has actually helped reduce lost time due to accidents and has impacted positively on the test program. Tell us about a time you worked well in a team setting. I have worked in many different teams in a variety of different settings. As an example, whilst working as a lead commissioning engineer, preparing the commissioning program and commissioning procedures, I worked with a very large pool of stakeholders located in three different countries. I led regular technical meetings and communicated regularly with the stakeholders and ensured that the team was updated and that everyone was working towards the same end goal. I also ensured that I was a good listener throughout. I also encouraged feedback from the different stakeholders. Tell me about a time you had conflict at work. How did you handle it? What did you learn? Tell me about a stressful situation and how you dealt with it. Have you ever had problem with another team member that you were working with? If so, how did you handle it? What are the most difficult decisions you have had to make? How do you face pressure? I have not experienced a huge amount of conflict with colleagues. However, I always try and resolve it straight away if ever it happens. I believe that conflict can have a negative impact on a team as it brings a negative energy into the team. In addition, it can actually distract the team from the task at hand. Give an example of how you develop team members. I coach and develop my team members and engineers within and outside my company. As an example, I assist younger engineers with appraisal and recommend training and development courses to engineers within my group. I also assist them with completing their development logs. In addition, I am a mentor with the Institution of Engineering and Technology, where I guide them towards professional recognition within the institution. I provide guidance and development areas for their career paths. By doing this, I am helping to improve my country's engineering skills database, and I am also helping to create sustainable growth. Give an example of where you developed and implemented appropriate hazard identification and risk management systems and culture. I authored the site risk assessment for the project and specified that personnel should not go within 3 meters to the edge of the structure's roof. However, 1 week into the project, a supervisor put himself in danger by following his team member to within 2 meters from the edge of the structure's roof. I discussed with him and afterwards had a joint meeting with our site's health, safety, and environment lead. This was an example of a near miss, and things could easily have gone very wrong. Following an analysis of the situation, I identified time pressure and complacency as the root causes. I recommended updates to be made to the site risk assessment to mandate the use of a travel restraint system which consisted of a lanyard, a lifeline, and a safety harness. This was to prevent employees from reaching an unguarded edge. I also recommended an amendment to the site safety policy to mandate that a copy of the risk assessment method statement is carried whenever on site, and the team are required to review the statement against the plan of works before commencing work each day. Give an example of where you carried out risk assessment. Whilst working on the storage structure project, I was concerned that the project will incorrectly categorize the structure's safety class. Now, although the structure was located in a non-seismic area, it was required to store hazardous substances. I was not satisfied with the project assigning a higher than necessary category to the structure, and it was therefore necessary for me to carry out a detailed risk assessment to assign the correct safety class. First, I discussed with subject matter experts within my company to gain a better understanding of the facility and the hazardous substances being stored. I then proceeded to carry out a risk assessment based on factors such as environmental impact, volume and volatility of the hazardous substances involved. I assessed the probability and severity of these risks and found that the quantities of the hazardous substances were within control quantities set by the regulatory authorities and could be considered as low risk. The result of the risk categorization allowed me to implement a structure design that was less expensive whilst still complying with high safety standards. Give an example of where you have applied ethical principles at work. I always apply ethical principles defined by my company, and I fully understand the ethical issues that may arise in my role. As an example, I applied the ethical principles of confidentiality by respecting all non-disclosure agreements between my company and equipment manufacturers. For example, whilst working with equipment qualification documents from a pump supplier in Germany, I ensured that contractually sensitive documents were safe and locked away from third parties who did not have rights to access them. I also refused requests to share the documents with non-authorized stakeholders. This was to ensure adherence to the non-disclosure agreement between my company and the equipment manufacturers. Have you got any questions for us? Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed this interview. I have a few questions for you, if that's fine. The first one is, how confident are you that your nuclear generating station will be granted an approval to extend its operating life? My second question is, what, in your opinion, would you say was the most challenging aspect of this position? So, if I'm successful, what would you want me to concentrate on during the first couple of months? My third question is, will not being professionally registered be a disadvantage for me? And my last question is, does this company have a mentorship program in place? So thank you for interviewing me. I would like to promise you that if I'm successful, And given this opportunity, I will put in my very best. And there you have it. Please let us know in the comments section if you found this helpful. Do not hesitate to contact us if you would like us to focus on any other area. And until then, we wish you the very best in your interview. See you soon.